If you don't like boring news but still crave the truth, then dive into The Robert and Crew Show. From mind-bending conspiracy theories to wild weather phenomena, we've got it all. Ever wondered what's really happening in your hometown, or what secrets the global news isn't telling you? We dig deep into the core of every story, unraveling the mysteries one podcast at a time. Join Robert and the crew as we navigate this vibrant, ever-changing cyberpunk landscape, bringing you interviews with the most intriguing minds out there. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, a news junkie or a weather enthusiast, there's something here for you. So strap in, listeners, because we're about to take you on a ride through the neon-lit alleys of truth and intrigue. This is the Robert and Crew Show, where the future meets the fantastic.
Welcome back to the Robert and Crew Show. Always, I'm Robert.
And I'm Crew.
Tonight, we're doing our Flat Earth Part 3. Ain't that right, Crew?
Definitely. We did part 1 in season 2, and we figured we can do two more parts for this season, for season 3. So, join the ride, because it's getting intense. This rabbit hole's getting bigger by the second.
Yeah, Flat Earth is always one of those that's like, is it possible that Flat Earth is real? Or is it, hey, what's up, Julie? How are you doing?
Hello, Julie.
So yeah, it's like one of those things. Like, is Flat Earth real? Maybe. And then the more like you shoving it in my face, and the more that I see it all over the internet, I'm like, you know what? There's possibly, and whether or not the Earth is flat, I mean, I sure as hell don't think it's a spinning ball in the middle of the universe flying through at 666 million miles per hour, or whatever they say. It's
Right.
absolutely insane. You think you'd be able to fit. What's up, Brandon?
Hello, Brandon.
So, like, Flat Earth, in my opinion, is one of those that's like it's one of those touchy subjects that not a lot of people want to back because they don't want to seem like they're crazy. But then again, like, I feel like if you just strictly trust scientists, that kind of makes you right. Like, only so much science can be proven. There's still science out there that's not proven. The theory of relativity, the theory of gravity, the theory of everything. There's still science to this day that is not proven and will never be proven. So it's an interesting one. What are your like latest and most recent thoughts about the flat Earth topic and subject?
Well, the more I dig deeper into it, the more it gets intense. Because here's the thing. I believe there's more continents that have not been discovered. Right?
Right, which a lot of people believe.
And the ice wall, Antarctica, that we call, is hiding something. Not just minerals, not just undiscovered lands, but possibilities. And for so long, we were told, "Oh, Earth has a curvature." How?
Well,
Pilots even proven there's no curvature.
so the thing with planes, the weird thing with planes is that if they only fly up to a certain distance, they don't go any further than that distance. And if you look out of a plane window, I've done it myself. I know many other people that have done it. If you look out a plane window, the Earth doesn't look like it is curving. The Earth just looks like it's flat. The further the farthest up you can go, it doesn't look like it curves.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon says he wants you to give it to him deeper, Shaitan. He needs the flat Earth information.
Okay, Well, you're going to be in for a wild ride tonight, Brandon, because this flat Earth theory is going to be intense because there's things that the corrupt government is what we're calling them, the corrupt, does not want us to know. I've done so much research that I've shown Robert via maps, things that, haven't been discovered. He's looked at old maps, everything that we know. Everybody's going to find out tonight.
The biggest map that I can think of that y'all should go look at, and I'll actually pull up a picture of it right now, is called the Urbano Monte map,
which was shown last part.
Yeah, I've got that map basically memorized. The Urbane Monto or Monte map is very, very interesting. It's one of the more interesting historical maps that not a lot of people can prove. Like, is it wrong? Is it real? Is it right? It came from 1587. So somebody was sailing the sea before Christopher Columbus. Come on now, like they knew where multiple things were in 1587. Make that make sense.
Yeah.
So here, while I'm pulling this up, Shaitan, continue talking about your theory of flat Earth.
So Antarctica is surrounding all of the known continents, right? We're in what's called a dome. So we don't go when we're like looking like we're going to outer space. We don't go up. We curve. We curve like this, right? So
Correct.
The moon and the sun are in the dome. They're not in outer space. There's no outer space. In order for you all to understand, as many times as I've explained, and Robert even knows this now because he's even come to terms with it and believes it now. The dome was created to separate the waters from above to the waters from below. So, make that make sense.
What did you say? You kind of cut out there. You said make what make sense?
Make that make sense. We're not a globe.
Right, but what are you saying to make
Okay.
Right, we're not a globe.
We're not a globe. The dome is the globe. That's the only way we're considered a globe. We're flat. If we were a globe, we wouldn't be in a dome.
Right.
So,
well,
God created
here real quick.
Okay.
Just a second. Here real quick. This is the Urbano Monte map that I'm talking about.
Okay.
So, with the Urbano Monte map, tell us what you know about this map, because I know quite a bit about it.
All right. So, that's round circle of land. That's considered Antarctica. That's not ice. And if Robert was able to zoom into it, he could show you on all that circle land right there, right? That is what has different kind of animals. On this map, there's unicorns, dragons, mermaids, I think I saw some centaurs in this map. Mystical creatures that were part of the medieval times, right? So, in that open
A lot
space
of
in the water,
dragons.
right, a lot of dragons. Now, in that open space on the left, right in between, I don't know what land that is. That's America. Okay, that's North America, where that right in between the water, no, right in the middle of the water, where the Antarctica is and America is. That's where Australia would be. Australia was not discovered
Right.
in the
Yeah, they don't
1500s.
have it yet.
So now, when in the 1800s, when the map came out, Australia is bigger. But in the newer maps, Australia is not bigger. Make that make sense. Known lands are in the dome, are in the circle of Antarctica. Unknown lands are outside of the ice wall, and the Antarctic Treaty of the ice wall, which is Antarctica, we're not allowed to go to. We're not allowed to go through the no-fly zone to discover the lands that have not been found yet. The only ones to know about the lands are the corrupt and Admiral Byrd, and who's ever been on voyage before Admiral Byrd and when and after Admiral Byrd. Anybody else gets turned away, or like Robert
Right.
said, you get to see one part of Antarctica, and that's it.
So the map of the other lands that I talk. So guys, this map that's on screen right now. If you want to purchase this map or see this map or do anything with this map, just type in on Google or Bing or whatever search engine you use. Go and type in the Urbano Monte map 1587. It will come up. It is Monte Plains sphere.
Can you pull up the
That's that map.
Can you pull up the one map I
I have
sent you?
Well, I have this map that I'm going to pull up. This, I think, is the map you're talking about. And if it's not, I can go find that map. But this is the map that I have right now that I was going to put back up on screen.
That's the one. Okay. Okay. So this is called the Terra Infinita map. Now, this map are lands that are basically planets or different worlds that have not been discovered. And when I mean not
they're named
discovered,
after a lot.
right.
They're named after a lot of weird things.
So if they've been discovered, like Mars is on here, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, all those are planets that have been discovered but not have been explored. Now, supposedly we've explored Mars with a little toy vehicle, but I don't know if we can prove that. Thing is, all these lands right here have different, worlds have different lands that have never been seen, never been touched. They have.
In the so in the very bottom, there's a very big circle. Okay, it's red, and in the middle, it's kind of got like land that looks like a heart, like a human heart shape, and then there's appears to be an ice wall, and then there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 continents surrounding that, and then another ice wall. Crazy enough, that plane sphere or that dome or that area, that piece of Terra is called Nibiru. And Nibiru, at least I've heard about since I was a kid. Okay, Nibiru was in different books. I was told at one point, like I remember being a kid and hearing NASA talk about Nibiru. So to know that there was a map that was created with a dome-like structure called Nibiru on it blew me away. And then up here, in the very like far right, we have Asgard, guys. Like literal Asgard is on this map.
Okay, so Asgard is in the R dome, right?
Yeah. Circle,
So
yes.
would you be able to zoom in on this map?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull up another photo for you. Did you want to see ours?
Yeah. So that way I can
What
explain it.
what map? What part of the map do you want to see?
Okay, ours.
No, I mean what part of do you?
All of it. As in Earth part only.
Yeah. Um, talk a little bit while I pull this up, brother.
Okay. So when Robert pulls up
Here.
the Earth part of Terra Infinita, I'm gonna explain what supposedly Admiral Byrd found when he did his discoveries. Allegedly, what we think he found. Now he has in his files of what he wrote. And then there's a book called the Terra Infinita book that talks about all these worlds. So it gets intense. Like
All right.
um like reset intense.
What do you mean by that?
Like how many resets do you believe we've had on Earth?
Oh
Is
God,
kind of
we've had resets probably 6, 7, 8, 9 different times, man. Probably more
right,
than that. We could probably even go into like hundreds of resets that we don't know about.
right,
If
and
God, if the Bible is the all truth, then the Bible accounts to at least 2 resets. At least 2 resets are known.
like on this map. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that white circle is Antarctica. That's the ice wall. So you got Asgard in the very top. You got Patania on the top right. You got Gemini on the top left.
Yeah, it's Gemini, basically.
And then um what
The small islands that are down here, the small islands that you can't read because they're so freaking small, those are the moving lands of Thoth. And then we have the ancestral republic, the ancient
mhm.
lands of the Anunnaki, ATOS, whatever that is, Libras, we have the Neptunian Sea, and then you have Asgard. And
Yep.
then, of course, we have in our realm, we have Asia, Africa, the Atlantic Ocean, North America, South America, blah, blah, blah. And then you have Australia, and then you have the ice wall.
Right. So
And ATOS, by the way, is not in the realm of our Earth. I mean, if it is in the realm of our Earth, it's after the mountain ring.
right.
It's after the mountain rings. So
Right.
beyond the ice.
Right. So basically, all that outside the ice wall is supposedly what Admiral Byrd discovered when he went on a trip.
Well, when he went into the inner Earth, supposedly.
Yeah. Right. So on the ice wall, you can see certain openings on certain sides to enter out of the ice wall. Now, of today, they're guarded because no one is allowed to leave the ice wall because of the Antarctic Treaty.
Right.
And the Ancestral Republic supposedly has Garden of Eden, the Ark of the Covenant, so much other stuff. And in the book, this guy who left the ice wall to go explore the outside of unknown territory, he literally, him and his crew, met a vessel, a boat-like vessel. They boarded the boat. The captain gave them a map. This map right here of all that. He said the closest one to go to is the Ancestral Republic. That's the only safest place to go. So when he went
And
and
that's
met with,
supposedly the one that's supposedly the one that they wrote the book about, right?
you're right. So he went to the Ancestral Republic, met with the main person of that place. The main person said, "You're the first person to ever come in our world in so many years." And the people he was talking to who went past the ice wall were wearing white wigs, kind of like around the uh Civil War era, or not Civil War era, the George Washington era. So the guy of the Ancestral Republic
The forming of America.
right told this man and his team, after we haven't seen anybody in so long because of the reset, and you will not be able to go back. So he said the only reason why he was not able to go back is probably because of the fact that there was a war going on outside the ice wall between the Anunnaki and the Ancient Republic and all these other lands.
So the lands of the Anunnaki were fighting with other lands.
Anunnaki, which are giants, were fighting with the Ancestral Republic. Like they had advanced technology,
I
right?
gotcha.
So they had like spaceships flying in there and shooting at Ancestral Republic spaceships, and it was like it gets deep.
Right.
Well, I have not seen this map before.
Yeah, so this was a map that was drawn back in like the 90s. They call them pawns. So basically they believe that we were technically a pond surrounded by ice. And all of the land that we know is directly in the middle of that pond.
So
Does
they're
that make sense?
considering an ocean a pond.
Well, they don't think that's actually an ocean. It's an ocean to us. But if you saw the bigger picture, it would actually just be a pond. And if you look at Terra Infinita, for instance, these are ponds, buddy. All of these domes, they're all ponds. Ponds within ocean. Look at that. There's land all around them. They're ponds. So now with Terra Infinita, we do have to acknowledge that a book was found in the 80s, or a book was published in the 80s, I think, that had these maps in them. Okay? And NASA and a couple other, well, I can't say NASA because I don't know if it had anything to do with them or not. Allegedly, some government entity came out and said all of the maps were fraudulent and made the person that created the book, made them register the book as fiction. So it's interesting because in the book Terra Infinita, as he says, they claim that they went to the ancestral republic.
Right.
These ancestral aliens, or who we know as allegedly the Nords, the Nordic aliens, they basically gave us a map of all of it, of every land. And the reason why they have the map is because they are dimensional entities. They can walk through any plane of existence. You can't shoot them. Weapons don't work against the Nords, apparently. Nothing works. And same thing with the Greys. Apparently weapons don't work, man. Like you cannot personally unalive a Grey alien or a Nordic alien, supposedly.
Right.
That's all alleged. I rap about aliens. I mean, I've seen UFOs. I've been followed by them my entire life, and people used to call me crazy. And now everybody's coming out. They're like, "Oh my God, Robert's not crazy. Actually, he was actually telling the truth the whole time." Oh, and there's all these other people who've seen them too. And I have my own Men in Black story, but we can go in that a little bit later. Basically, I believe there's something to Terra Infinita. Why in the world would they come out and be like, you have to label this as fiction? Because if you published it as nonfiction, it'd be saying it was true. But I know for a fact that there are books out there in the fiction section that are nonfiction, that are absolutely real, but they had to be put in the fiction section.
Right.
So it becomes extremely hard to understand, like, really what's going on in the world when there are actual aspects of government that push back on what we are allowed to actually know about our world and our lands and where we come from. Because I mean, I don't know if you're like me at all, man, but I can't sit here and just believe that we're the only life in the universe. How
Exactly.
can we be the only life in the universe? In the whole
Right.
universe?
Oh, we might have a guest.
Our guest.
By buddy Derek. He wants to join. So is
All
that cool
right.
with
Well,
you?
send him a link.
All right.
As long as he's cordial and respectful, he is more than welcome in the stream.
All right, definitely. Give me one moment. I gotta send him the link. I gotta find it.
And he needs to know headphones and no background noise.
Oh, he's very aware of that. He does that on results all the time. All right.
Sweet. Always down to have a guest in here. All right, everybody. Let's welcome the one, the only, Derek.
Oh, hey, by the way, I'm smoking a cigarette. I'm shirtless.
Oh, you're good,
Hey.
brother.
What is your show tonight about? What's tonight?
So tonight, the subject is flat Earth.
Ready?
What are your feelings, Derek, about flat Earth?
Flat, round. You're all bunch of fucking retards. This is my theory on it. Go into fucking space and see for yourself if you want to know.
Crazy thing
What?
is me, you, that guy up there. None of us can afford that. Not a single one of us can afford that space flight ticket.
No, we can't, of course.
Nor
But
will
you
we
know
ever
what?
be able to.
But to me, I really think the Earth is flat.
I'm right there with
Because
you,
how
buddy.
could-
I've been sitting here.
Because how can giants roam the world years ago if you have a flat Earth, if you have a round Earth?
Wait, go into this more. I want to hear more of this. What's
back,
this
back in
about?
the day,
Giants?
back in the day, you've seen the Stonehenge, right? Now you've seen what just recently popped up on the world, right? About the whole
Right.
pyramids.
Yeah, about the coils being underneath the pyramids, that they actually are fucking power plants.
So there are more things that people are not telling you.
Oh yeah, they're
Finally
hiding
see.
everything from us. They're fucking hiding everything.
Oh, by the way, I thought I'd come on and say nice to meet you, Robert. I do share your
It's nice to meet you.
intro to on my show and his show.
Oh, thank you
Been
so
tell-
much.
Yeah, been telling him I wanted to come on for a while, and I never get to because the fact that I work. But
Oh well, anytime you want to come on, man, just shoot me a DM, and we will figure out a time that works for you, and we will
hit
make
up
the
this
cast
fuckstick.
work around your schedule.
I'll hit up this Toofus Wonder over here.
Well,
Yeah.
you're going to want to be part of the CEW episode, Derek, because that's coming Friday.
Working a big shift can't,
Oh, all right.
and then she's home, so Friday
Yeah.
nights. But so flat, yeah. You got to realize back in the day, like I said, before we get carried away on things, you had giants roaming the world. There were giants that roamed the world. Look at Stonehenge. Look at some of the mountains that people show you on videos. Some of them look like giants.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So if you had a round Earth with all those giants, how is it supposed to stay in gravity? How is the Earth supposed to rotate on its axis? Can't.
Mhm.
Is that because of
Look at a
weight?
flat Earth. It's the weight of the giants.
Are you saying? Okay, so you're saying the weight of what the Earth holds would make it almost too well. It would make it too heavy to actually sustain an orbit, like an orbit. So instead of flying,
we wouldn't be able to rotate on our axis at all.
Right,
The equator wouldn't have its own gravitational pull. We would have no gravity. We'd be fucking floating.
Okay. I see where you're coming with I see where you're coming from with this. What got you interested in giants? And why with giants? Why with giants? That, like with flat Earth, why is that your first at flat Earth? Is if there were giants, the Earth has to be flat.
Of course it does. You can't walk on a round Earth when you have the weights of giants, dinosaurs, all that weight back then. Wouldn't be able to hold.
Okay.
All that weight, because how much does the Earth weigh?
Yes, we can find that out real quick.
Go by that weight. Then you go by the weight of all the giants that were back then in the world.
We gotta with what good old scientists tell us, and I don't usually believe the scientists.
I don't believe scientists. Period.
it's hard to believe them because you can only report on site what you can prove, and you can only prove what's been made by man, and what's made by man is only provable because we say it is.
But I did hear a little. I know this we're talking about flat Earth, but I did hear a little rumor that you guys got shut down.
Yeah.
We've had a couple things. We've had a couple things taken down for sure. YouTube does not like me very much. They tend to take my stuff down.
We had World
Yeah.
War II taken
YouTube
down.
gets really weird.
Yeah, YouTube don't like when you speak the truth.
We got our World War II episode taken down. We had both our content houses taken down. Episodes.
Well, they saw your face. Of course, I would take it down.
Economy
Well,
44 billion years old is how old the Earth is.
You got to realize,
And
see, people with beards keep their show on. People that don't have beards like us, like me and Robert, you don't have the show. Grow your fucking beard out. Stop being a bitch.
I did, but here's the problem. When I did, people were complaining, so I shaved it so they'll stop.
Guess what? You are not them. You are you.
I know.
Stop.
crazy. The Earth apparently weighs 5.972 septillion kilograms.
Okay, now.
I don't know what a septillion kilogram is.
I don't fucking know. I didn't pay attention to science.
A septillion kilogram. That's crazy.
You know, like what the fuck is
So,
that? Let's talk about butter sausage.
let's talk about buttered sausage. I love that meme. The fucking meme, man.
Like,
what's that dude's name? What the fuck is his name?
Oh, Gary.
The whole
Busey.
conspiracy behind the fact, Gary Busey, and the whole conspiracy fact. That's all alleged, of course, but that Tom Brady is actually Gary Busey. Have you seen that shit? Put the overlays of Tom Brady's face on Gary Busey. They're the same fucking people. It's crazy. It's so weird.
Fact that Tom
That's
Brady
exactly
doesn't fucking age. Tom Brady doesn't age. That motherfucker gets his blood drawn in fucking England. He does not age. He gets a pint of blood taken from him, and he gets a pint of blood put back.
Yeah.
Motherfucker's like a goddamn vampire of Dave Walkers. He's playing. He's playing with a football.
Tom Brady, man. They do call him the GOAT. There's got to be some kind of satanic ritualistic meaning behind that.
Let's not get into that. I used to be an atheist. Yeah,
I get it.
Now,
I'm not an atheist.
Now I'm a believer.
I'm not an atheist, not a follower of Christ, not necessarily. I am a follower of Anubis. I believe that everybody lives, everybody dies. Regardless if this is a simulation and the one person that I'm going to put my faith into is the person that supposedly watches over the dead. Because that's where we end up.
Comes down to this.
Matrix, the computer we're all plugged into, the giant simulation.
You didn't know? They just took a big course and here, up your ass, Earth. But
so how do you explain mountains, Derek, with flat Earth?
Well, you know how mountains are made, right?
Yeah, with tectonic plates, supposedly.
It's when the tectonic
earthquakes,
plates,
seismic.
It's when the underwater earthquakes form. So when that happens, the tectonic plates bring things together to form a mountain.
Yeah. So with flat Earth, wouldn't that mean that the tectonic plates would always be pushing against each other? Shouldn't we just have a constant flow of earthquakes?
It depends on if we have a constant flow of earthquakes. But we don't. We don't have that constant flow. It's not like it's in California. California will have massive fucking earthquakes. but they're not having the underwater ones that pushes mountains to be formed together.
Right.
The
ones that are underwater, we are not necessarily
a lot of things
feeling.
a lot of things from underwater that we don't know about, that we never saw because we were just fucking sperm somewhere else. So we don't know how it was actually formed. But a lot of the stuff that they didn't teach you in school, and a lot of the stuff that you have inside, you should send this to fucking Drew. He would love to be out here. Crew. You heard
Drew.
what I said.
Drew.
You should send it to Drew. Drew's a conspiracy nut.
Oh yeah,
Drew.
Drew.
Why the hell
Send it to him. Send it to him.
on here?
I'll see if he's on. Give me a second.
Oh, he's probably at work or something, but send it to him anyways. You know what's really funny? Ready for this? Let's see. I'm gonna put it on my YouTube page, and I'm gonna fucking boom, same changes. Guess what? Guess what I'm doing for you, Robert? I'm from my laptop. I'm streaming both.
Yeah.
I'm streaming the show on my YouTube page and my Facebook page right now.
Oh, thanks, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It helps me out a crap load. I'm always trying to push the. I'm always trying to
weird,
push.
YouTube is about to come after me.
YouTube's always coming after anybody that does anything that sounds a little bit kooky or truthful. God forbid it sounds truthful. It sounds truthful.
God forbid we know the truth. God forbid we know the truth, guys. You can't know the truth. You're not allowed.
So, Derek, did you see that data map?
Say that again. You cut in and out.
Did you see the Infinita map?
No, I have not.
Explain to him what this is, crew.
Okay, so
It looks like a giant fucking cell.
Okay, so this is all worlds that are like Mars, Saturn.
Right.
And ours. Robert, can you pull up ours real quick? So this is ours. Right. So basically, all those lands outside the ice wall, which is Antarctica, are lands that supposedly Admiral Byrd discovered.
So I didn't know that shit.
And there's openings on certain parts of the ice wall that are called gates.
Right.
And that's why whenever you see like videos of people like actually going as far out as they can into Antarctica, that's why you see that there's a little ship or there's always a fighter pilot or there's always some crazy aircraft carrier that pulls up and tells them to get the fuck out of there. Right. That's always what happens. They can't. Nobody can go close to that fucking glacier. Not a single person. And we're told that Antarctica is like 16,000 miles or something like that. Or maybe it's it's like something like 17,000 wide. Okay. Then why does it take 60,000 miles to sail around Antarctica? That makes no sense. That's no sense. It's because Antarctica wraps around the entire world. Regardless what they want you to think. 60,000 miles is a long fucking distance. It wraps around. It wraps, and there are ways to get out, but those ways are blocked. Some of them are frozen. Some of them have been literally blocked up. They have sank boats around them. They have done whatever they can to stop people from making any way to those gated parts of the glacier. And what they say, what they say basically is the whole reason why that we're not allowed to go in there is because if the glacier is something, it serves a safety hazard to any explorers. And then on top of that, there could be disease risks, bacteria risks, and viral risks in the
You
ice.
see the mountain ring.
Yeah.
Those are all the mountains, right?
Yep.
Why do you think it's pushed to the outer? Why do you think it's pushed to the outer rim and not closer?
Because it's what's
Tectonic
holding up the
plates.
dome.
It's your tectonic plates from
Well,
the
I also
water
think it's
earthquakes.
what's holding up.
That's
Yes,
what's
I
holding up the
also
water.
think
Now imagine. Just imagine the ice wall. Just imagine if that ice wall broke. We're fucked.
well, I think in theory that's what's happened. I think it already happened. And I think that's why they are so afraid of people exploring, because we'll find
Oh,
a way out.
Asgard's real. Asgard's real. Fuck
Yeah,
yeah. What's up, Thor?
yeah. Asgard is real. A lot of these places that we were told are not real are real. The roaming islands of Thoth, they're, they're real. The islands of Anubis are real. Um, Literally the ancestral republic. There are so many of these lands that have supposedly been documented, and there are so many people that have. A lot of them are dead now, sadly, but a lot of these people that either A, died a while ago, or were never seen again after they wrote a book, but had claimed that they left this part of the world and went beyond the ice wall. And some of them came back. Some of them came back and wrote books. Others tried to write a book and then disappeared. Were never seen again. Oh, he was lost on expedition. I froze to death. You know that bullshit. This shit they
Yeah.
always tell you.
Right.
When in all reality, we knew back in World War II that fishy shit was going on in Antarctica. Why did Hitler and the Nazis have such an interest in Antarctica? Okay, like that's what you really have. Like that's what it really comes down to. Is occult motherfucking Nazis were setting bases up in a place called New Schwabenland in the middle of fucking Antarctica, and that didn't for nobody out. There's still today in Antarctica, there is a place called New Schwabenland. And it will forever be called New Schwabenland because nobody is allowed on Antarctica, supposedly. The Antarctic Treaty, signed by all countries, stating that nobody will mine, dig, uh, do whatever to Antarctica. You're not even allowed to explore it.
Right.
Act 2000 was back when Obama was in, but all the world leaders, including Barack Obama, all went to Antarctica, and it was a big fucking deal. And all of these people were together, and they all did some ritual and prayer. Like even the Pope was there. They were all in Antarctica. So that's crazy. And then you
Life.
have these guys that just did the final experiment. Did you hear about that, Derek?
No, I have not.
Okay, so the final experiment was these guys who flew to Antarctica and they did a expedition. We don't know how real this is. We don't know. They claim it to be real. The government claims it to be real. YouTube and everybody else claims it to be real. But let's be honest now. AI is so fucking good that anything can be considered real and it not be real.
Well,
Exactly.
Basically,
it's AI. What do you expect?
exactly.
You can get rid of the Earth thing, so I can see the pyramid.
Yeah, these guys go to fucking Antarctica and they set up a whole bunch of cameras and shit, and they prove that the sun actually does orbit the Earth. I don't know how the hell they did it. You would have to look up the video. I can't play it on here because YouTube will take us down. Same thing with same thing with
Gotta
a
love
couple of these
YouTube.
other places will just take us to play a video. But yeah, basically the video shows these guys going to Antarctica and proving that the Earth is not flat. There's been a lot of people that have came out that have been like, actually, y'all motherfuckers proved the Earth is flat, and this is how. And there's no clapback to it. Nobody has said anything bad about those guys. But everybody's still like, no, they already did the final experiment. The Earth's round. Now the government is just like, yeah, the Earth's round, no matter fucking what. But everybody, I feel like at least 35% of the population genuinely knows and feels in their heart that the Earth is flat, and that for sure we are being lied to about it being round. There's
Government lies about everything.
There's too much fishy shit behind it.
Come on.
And if there were more land, like if there is more land like this, like you see the ice wall, if there really is all this other land, and either there are extra, like so extra land, and then you have extra terrestrial, so that's like extra people, extra terrestrials, extra people. So if there are like extra land and aliens, or just extra people or extra races on these outer lands, maybe those people or those beings or whatever don't want us coming over there and mining and fucking up
You can
all
remove
their
the photo now. You know that, right?
Yeah,
You done with the photo, by the way?
yeah, keep popping down.
Okay.
Don't
Yeah,
matter.
good. It's all good.
But yeah,
Okay, I'm not gonna pick. I've been picking my nose the whole time you're eating it.
do whatever you want.
Anyway, Robert, we got some videos for tonight, don't we?
Oh Jesus! What comedy shows did you fucking do tonight?
No comedy videos. They're what we do here. So what we normally do here, Derek, is we play a bunch of videos from the Tiki Talk.
Oh Jesus!
I know we ended up somewhere around here. I'm just gonna start from here, and that is perfectly fine.
Can you can see my screen here? All right, so this is called the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. The sky is the perfect clock. The sun keeps track of the hours and the days. Wherever the sun is, it's noon, right? The sun will lap the moon every 28 days. So if I speed it up, you'll see that the sun is going to catch up to the moon. The moon, its phases and its position keep track of the weeks and the months. There used to be 13 months of 28 days, but they hijacked that from us also, right? Slow it down, turn on the stars. The stars are spinning the same way from east to west, no matter where you are on Earth. And the stars are going slightly faster than the sun, to where the point where is they'll lap the sun once every 365 days. So right now, the sun is fading back into this constellation. Next month, it'll be in Capricorn. It'll fade back in there, and it'll go through all the zodiacs until it's back to where it is on this day next year, right? So the stars keep track of the seasons and the years.
Oh shit!
So I think we
Crazy.
did see that one the other day, but I do like that that whole star map and just the clock with the sun. That does make a lot more sense to me than the whole fact of the sun is literally swirling around us while we're fucking at 666. By the way, as weird as that sounds, we're supposedly spinning at 666 million miles per hour. What the fuck? Like, and we don't feel any of it. None of it.
See how flat we are?
Yeah, well, we like. I feel like we're definitely not fucking round, for sure. For sure, we're definitely not round. I don't think we are.
No. Definitely.
Someone actually got pictures from inside Antarctica. It's like we're looking at some kind of underground tunnel. Another underground base, it looks like. An entrance for aircraft and vehicles. Monoliths. Possibly a UFO. That's what it looks like. Another underground tunnel. An entrance to another tunnel. Possibly a UFO or some kind of dome. Ancient structures is what I would have to guess. Another monolith. That I'm not sure. Question is, were there people in Antarctica before we got there?
I think there were people
That's the question you
before
gotta ask
we
yourself.
got to Antarctica.
Yeah. It only makes
Well,
sense.
via the Urbane map. Well, looking at that Urbane map, and I mean we showed it earlier, that map would say, yeah, probably there was probably people in Antarctica and animals and other weird things that we didn't know about before. That was all just there.
Right.
If things were here way before we were born. So while things that were happening that we don't know about, we only see what that photo. That's about it. So why we just see that? There's got to be something there that they don't want us knowing about. Another like a hidden area that they don't want us finding. It's like with the Epstein list. They didn't want us knowing about that. That got leaked, right? They didn't want to know about the Diddy list. That got leaked, right? Everything is coming to light. Everything is getting leaked now. The world is becoming woke. It's time for us to know the truth instead of hiding it from us. What is in there? Show us. Because if you're afraid to show us, if you're afraid to show us the truth to scare us, motherfucker, I survived Walmart for 5 years. I ain't scared of shit.
I feel like most people feel that way. I feel like most people are like, man, if there's aliens, who gives a fuck? There's aliens.
If my wife is an alien, let's go. Send me to the fucking space. Let me meet your leader. I swear to God, if I listen, crew, if you don't see me in the show no more, I got sucked up.
Zara says, have y'all already mentioned that new emergency going on with a team in Antarctica? I don't know. What is that about?
Hey, pull up the comment. Pull up the comment.
Yeah, I can pull up the comment for you.
Yeah, pull up the comment so everyone can see. That's my buddy Aaron. Have you all mentioned the new emergency going on with the team in the office? That's what do you think they're probably looking for? That fucking. What do you think they leaked? What do you think probably got leaked? What's that? Think about it. I mean, if you want, send him the link. Send him the link. Get Aaron on here. Aaron.
All right. Hold on. I gotta pull. Oh, and by the way, JD said she likes beardless crew.
Who?
As of March 26, 2025, there is an ongoing emergency in Antarctica involving a research team. I don't know, though.
Hold on. Because this
Group of
is
scientists at the Sky Spot or something base located about 100 miles south of Antarctica's ice shelf faced a crisis when one team member allegedly became violent. Reports indicate that this individual physically assaulted and made death threats, creating an environment of fear among the 10-person overwintering team. The incident was detailed in an email sent by a team member to South African authorities, which was first reported by the Sunday Times on March 17th, 2025. The team stationed at the remote base since early February is isolated due to the Antarctic winter with no regular transport available December 2025. Holy shit.
Do me a favor.
Yeah.
See, you said something. You said something about a clean face. Pull up that fucking comment.
Okay, so our one of our fellow viewers, JD, who's a regular, said she likes beardless crew.
No.
Yeah.
No. I swear to God, if he ever cleans his fucking face, I'm reporting him to fucking sex child anonymous.
Jesus.
Motherfucker looks like a dang pedophile when he's beardless. I see.
And then Julie said she discovered a video today where people discovered some fish or plant life in Antarctica, which we know about. And then she also said, I sent you the video of the fish or plant life on Antarctica.
Once you get it,
I don't know, bro. If she sent it to you, send it to me because
She probably sent it to me, but I don't know. I'll have to double check. It's probably a YouTube video.
Yeah, I can't.
Playing a YouTube video on YouTube, they'll give you a fucking a thing for it. By the way, your thing was muted because it was on YouTube. I'm watching YouTube on YouTube. How are you gonna get mad?
Oh shit!
Fucking algorithms, man.
They don't let you do anything anymore with anything. If they have a say in it, they don't want none of that.
Yeah, send this. Did you send the link to Aaron?
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. He said
he'll hop on.
Just a sec, almost done uploading something on his PC. It is being loud, so I want to wait for it to calm down.
Of course. But yeah, definitely keep the comments going on. Absolutely.
I don't know how to turn that on to where it just shows
Bro,
up.
Julie said she sent both of them from TikTok.
No, I can see the comments on my end too. You can usually just hit the button to pop them on, like you've been doing.
Yeah. They used to just a while ago they would just pop up on screen, but I don't have it. Doesn't do it anymore.
Man, this cruise should never happen.
You're damn right. I said a comment. I put a comment on the show.
Burrito sauce.
That's me. Burrito Sauce Gaming.
That's you.
Yeah, I put that comment. I can type from my own thing, laptop or phone, while we're live.
Cool.
Yeah, it would be
Is
basically
there the app for it?
Huh?
Is that with the app?
Yeah, and and right here in the comment section on my laptop, I can type anything and it'll pop up on my live and yours.
Gotcha. I'll have to get that StreamYard app. I don't have that app. Surprisingly, don't have that app. I have every other app in the book.
How much? Now look at my phone. See?
Yeah.
Well, what I type on yours shows up on mine as well.
Yeah.
Technology's fun.
Oh yeah. All right. Well, we'll hit this next video real quick.
I showed you the maps that were here on Earth before 1958, before the governments took them out. Now I'm going to show you the Encyclopedia Britannicas in the public libraries before 1958. Here's volume 2. Now this is actually the Encyclopedia America, but the Encyclopedia Britannica is the same thing as Encyclopedia America. It's just the Britain version. So I call it the Britannica. Anyways, this is volume 2 out of the alphabet A. We're going to flip to the Antarctica, and this is from 1958, as you can see. Now, we're going to flip to the Antarctica and see what the Encyclopedia Britannica from 1958, before the Antarctic Treaty, says is there. Now, you won't find this in the new encyclopedias because the government's discontinued them. But what I want you to notice right here is, notice how it says the flights proved inland areas to be featureless in character with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Take a really, really close look at that. Now I'm going to zoom it in for you. When they returned to New Zealand, these flights proved the inland areas to be featureless in character with a dome 13,000 feet high at about latitude 80 degrees south, longitude 90 degrees east. Now, if this doesn't make sense to you, let me show you with an image on Google Earth's heliocentric model. And now here we are at 80 degrees latitude, 90 degrees longitude. And as you can see, we're about a third over the supposed continent of Antarctica. And there, it's supposed to be, the dome was supposed to be 13,000 foot high. Makes no sense, right? Okay, now on this geocentric model, all of us truthers, flat earthers, know that the supposed Antarctica is nothing more than the ice wall. So if we go out here about a third over the ice wall, just like you've seen on the heliocentric image, about a third over Antarctica, then this is where the dome comes down to meet the ice, somewhere hundreds of miles off through the ice desert there, but somewhere right in here around 80 degrees latitude and 90 degrees longitude, this dome is about 13,000 foot above this ice wall. Now, if you go back out into the center of the Earth, or up the North Pole, and try to go up to the firmament with a little bit of calculation, it's going to show that it's about 385,500 feet away. It's really, really simple. And isn't it awful coincidental that the Antarctic Treaty of 1958 bans anyone from going to Antarctica? And guess where that ban starts at? At the 80th parallel south. And as you can read here, Antarctica as a continent is located in the southern hemisphere. It is the fifth largest continent and has an area of about 14 million square kilometers. The continent is almost completely covered by ice and is very difficult to access. There are only a few research stations that are located on the continent. People can only visit Antarctica if they have permission from the authorities. Now, if you're not familiar with any of this at all, and you're just now new to all this, you can say, well, this guy's crazy. He doesn't know what he's talking about. But what you got to ask yourself is, why do all the maps before 1958 show a flat Earth with the ice wall around it and a firmament, a dome? And not to mention the fact that all ancient cultures depicted a flat Earth with a dome over it, a firmament over it, for thousands of years. And let's not forget that the Holy Bible depicts a flat Earth with ice walls and a firmament being a dome. And why does the encyclopedia tell you that there's a dome there and it gives you the exact height at a certain latitude and longitude? Well, the reason is because in 1958, that's when all governments and all nations of the world signed the UN treaty to ban all civilians from going to the Antarctica. And NASA came in and erased everything, just like they're erasing everything today. So again, ask yourself, if all this existed before 1958, why doesn't it exist now? How come it all of a sudden was erased and just disappeared out of your history books, out of your encyclopedias, out of your libraries? Wake up, people. Wake up.
What's up, buddy?
How's it going, everybody?
I take it this is Eric.
Hey,
Nice to meet you, Rob.
Robert,
Nice to meet you.
pull up my comment. They know NASA's erasing everything, right?
Yeah.
Who do you think is making them do it?
The people that whoever is
there in the
above
comment.
them.
Right there in the comment. They
Yeah.
realize the New World Order and Illuminati run everything. They show up at my door. Aaron, I told crew, if you don't see me tomorrow, you know what happened.
They got bigger fish to fry. But you are important. Don't take that as a lack of importance, but yeah.
The New World Order has been spoken about forever. Forever. It's like every president has said something about the New World Order since like forever. It's like what they wanted to do, right? Was have one world order.
Yeah.
I mean, that is just generally something that humanity as a whole has been trying to get towards, or at least have as a goal of many different mindsets for the longest time. Because, I mean, it's like you take Star Trek, you know, it's this great utopia of everybody working together, everybody making sure everybody's taken care of so we can go toward the stars. But at the same time, you know, while it is a goal that sounds really good, we got to remember we're dealing with people. And there's always the fact that there will be the bad people who will use the good ideas to attain what they truly want and what their agendas really are.
Right. In your opinion, is the Earth flat?
I've been back and forth with crew on this many nights, long into the night to like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. We've had these discussions many times. Derek being there for a good few of them whenever he, you know, didn't have to work the next day, you know. Like we'd just be going back and forth on this stuff. My personal belief, not so much because of my other actual belief. And so it's not like I abjectly refuse it. It's just, I just have a differing alternative theory regarding my own rabbit hole per se, if that makes sense.
Do you mind sharing it?
And it's actually been very, very tied as sorry, I'm trying to condense things. Derek and crew knows how I can go freaking off forever. I've been researching this stuff. I'm 37 years old. Hi, FBI. Anyways, I've been researching everything since I graduated high school back whenever I was, 17 years old, and then delved into conspiracy rabbit hole, but only the think of the best. Sorry, I just hit the bong as you saw, but so
use the bong as excuse. Okay,
that was my first hit tonight. So transition, but so basically, where was I at? So basically, whenever I delved into conspiracy theories and everything and started following conspiracy researchers, many different ones over the years, and giving my own percentage of, percentage of approval or disapproval of their work. And I'm glad I did, because I went really freaking deep and got to the point where I literally was being that paranoid, crazy dude. Specifically after this one, I forget the name of the website or wanted to be a network that produced it, but it was the very first work by this certain network that was it was going to be like the first in their series of, documentaries. The thing is, they started with Bohemian Grove, which is a very valid and understandable, searched into topic. But
yeah,
after watching it and it being very dramatic, and then even to the point where David Icke himself is actually in the documentary talking to the people, then I found out it wasn't a documentary, it was a documentary. It was a dramatized movie, basically based on the studies of David Icke, but they went one too far over the cuckoo's nest, for jumbled words' sake. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they basically went a little too far and added way too much dramatics to it. That after I watched it and believing it was real, I'm like, oh damn! Even just looking into this stuff might end up getting me freaking, you know. I mean, this is 2006, 2007. You know, just even looking
Yeah,
into
you can
these
go
things,
down some,
you know. Go
you
ahead.
can go
Sorry.
down some holes that some people don't ever come back from. I've
Well,
witnessed a couple people myself, I think, that have gone crazy just looking things up and trying
oh,
to figure out what's really going on. And one of them was a really good friend of mine who shut the world out. Like, he's gone. Like, I have no clue what happened to him. He went crazy. He went completely crazy.
I mean,
It's a
it
lot
takes
for
discipline.
some.
It takes discipline that some people think they have at first, but then it goes with the territory. You got to keep, no matter how much you believe in something, you have to keep at least one part of just, if not placeholder disbelief, just for your own sanity. You know, you have to keep that
Yeah,
tiny bit that the worst isn't completely the worst. You know, that hope that you are wrong. You know, so and that's actually fits right into what I was about to reveal about this. So it was all about Bohemian Grove, and at first it was like a documentary. Like, you see this guy being interviewed, his face and voice are all morphed and, you know, covered and everything, and it's all about like, well, his buddy was looking into Bohemian Grove, and his buddy disappeared, so he's trying to himself go forward and try to find out what happened to his buddy, who literally dropped off the face of the earth. And the main guy being interviewed is the buddy of that guy. So you got like different layers to this, and it all seems as like okay at first, and then it starts drawing you in, it starts drawing you in, and it starts dropping actual hard things about Bohemian Grove. And I'd already looked into Bohemian Grove like a good point at this point. This is like, I'd say about a year and a half into my very first, like my deep dive, looking into almost anything and everything I could find on the internet, but not going to like any freaking random website, like making sure that it's like, you know, okay, you know, I've got some good stuff for this one. Because I mean, late 2000s, independent documentaries were freaking all over the internet regarding everything, especially with Bush and Iraq and 9/11 and everything, you know, being the
InfoWars,
biggest
man,
topic.
that's the one that got me.
Yeah.
InfoWars was the one that got me. It was he should not be named, because if we say his name, we'll get kicked off YouTube.
Yeah.
Stupid, right? But
I don't even know if we
call
can
him,
say
we'll call him Mr.
the
J.
British guy.
Mr. J.
Yeah, I don't even sure. I'm not even
We'll
sure if
just
we can
say
talk
Mr. J.
about the British guy either. His buddy, like partner in crime, the British guy. You know who I'm talking about, because he's
Yeah.
been blackballed so much, but not as bad as Mr. J. But anyways, like, so
Yeah.
the whole documentary is, and this is after I'd already watched tons of his documentaries, which are always, say what you will about him and his radio show. You look at his 2000s documentaries, spot on, bulletproof almost,
He
not
predicted
completely, but damn
9/11.
near bulletproof. Mm-hmm.
He predicted 9/11.
And even that,
And
that was him echoing,
acknowledge it.
and that was him echoing even Bill Cooper, who he didn't even really have that too much of a great relationship with at the time, because they eventually made up before Bill got what happened to him. I'm not going to go into that. You already know. I don't need to explain it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, this documentary, like, they're interviewing this guy whose buddy had a buddy of his disappeared looking at Bohemian Grove, and they go further and further, and eventually they start talking to David Icke, and they're going over just the basic stuff that almost anybody who'd looked into Bohemian Grove had, you know, kind of common knowledge of it at that point. And then it got to this crazy point where it's like, oh, well, he actually found out that his buddy decided to go undercover at Bohemian Grove. That's where he disappeared. So this buddy of said first buddy decides to go undercover at Bohemian Grove as well. And then it's this hokey, this is where it gets really bad. But, you know, you don't think of it's hokey at first whenever you're thinking this is legit. And you go into like this body cam footage of he's going around at this party and it's out in the middle of the woods. Then he goes down this spooky corridor and then this spooky staircase and gets into this spooky room where there's a bunch of people who are in druid gear dancing around this freaking woman who is like, got her stomach exposed, and you see some guy with a knife, and then the he cuts, and then it's like goes back to the guy they're interviewing. It's like, so we eventually found my friend 2 or 3 weeks or months later, and he just was very stoic, very kept to himself, did not want to talk about anything. But he was missing 3 fingers from his hand, not in a row, but 3 certain fingers from his hand. And then it's like he just didn't want to do anything, have anything to do with it. After that, he shut himself away from the world. And then they end it with like, the guy whose, identity they kept, but they didn't keep the identity of the guy who, his buddy. So that was the first really weird thing about it. And then it was like, I was seriously like freaked out after I watched this. And then
There's a lot of
about a month or two
stories.
later. Well, hold on.
There's okay, sorry.
No, it's I'm just right here at the end. So it was a month or two after this that too many things about it had got called out, and the company themselves had to come out and say, "Oh well, yeah, this this wasn't actually a real. None of these things actually happened, but this is just a movie we decided to make like a documentary that's based off the works of David Icke." And it was just like, okay. And so I pulled myself back, but that was whenever I was like, okay, so whenever I'm looking into everything, I have to keep that little bit of skepticism, no matter how much I believe it. Because, there's not only just the actual facts, but at the same time, this taught me that people can use actual genuine information to twist a completely different narrative, and completely, it's what I called, eventually came to the point where I called them distraction theories. Like certain things that they put out there that is similar enough to what you kind of already know about certain situations, but purposely leading you down a trail so that you can basically be, the people who actually have the actual knowledge, the Illuminati, New World Order, WEF, whichever way you want to say it. They actually all basically, it's like the Pied Piper. It's like that's how these conspiracy theories or these distraction theories are. It's like they'll lead you in with a little bit of what you know to lead you down a completely different path so that you yourself sound crazy and nobody will take you seriously when you talk. So sorry.
No, for sure. I was just gonna say the credible sources for Bohemian Grove have always been Mr. J's video and a couple other people that have snuck in. One person actually did get caught and kicked out, and when you get kicked out of the Grove, it's a whole different kind of experience because you basically the CIA sends people that come and grab you, and then you get questioned on why you were there and so forth and blah 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 blah. And the whole aspect behind the Grove, from what my understanding is like, yes, some weird shady shit happened, like probably some weird realistic sex orgy things happened there that was very odd. But most of the crazy things actually were the Manhattan Project was discussed at Bohemian Grove and implemented after it was discussed at Bohemian Grove. When we dropped the atomic bomb officially, that was decided at Bohemian Grove. There were multiple very weird things that were decided at Bohemian Grove. So it is a very elitist place that worships an owl that resembles the deity Moloch. And there's ritualistic aspects behind that. There's reasons they do those things. And they do them because magic is real. Regardless of what we believe or what we want to believe, Christian or atheist or Jewish or whatever religion you are in all aspects, you can be a pagan and believe completely in magic. But what it is if you have enough people in a room and all that energy of anxiety or fear or even adrenaline, just that energy, once you tend to manifest things a lot faster. Things tend to happen a lot faster with all that energy together, which is the whole reason the elite get together and have rituals like that. And there was a famous movie that was directed called Eyes Wide Shut that went through a huge controversy, and things were taken out of it after a famous movie's producer and director named Kubrick. Yeah, after he died. So we all know, and we all know that they do these things. They've been for a while, and you go back to like ancient religions, they did it too.
And just to add on to that, I'm not for sure how many of the fans out there, if you all ever know or watch anything from Blair White, famous YouTuber, trans woman who's always been, like just the baseline of reason. Well, she just dropped a video just last night or the night before, going into just what she knew or could see publicly from just general, what's already out there about the whole Epstein Island thing, and like
Right.
how she felt that it, how she felt like that we're never really truly going to get, the actual client list. I
We're
mean, you
not.
have the log list. That's one thing, but then it's the client list, and she goes over surprisingly things I didn't actually know about, like
Yeah.
basically Ghislaine Maxwell.
That Epstein list got leaked, dude. It was a big fucking.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
I know. But that was the flight log,
no.
that wasn't
Right.
the actual client list of the
Yeah.
trafficking.
You're 100% right. We're never going to get that list. Let's be clear, we're never going to get that list. But we all know
It will one
who was
day.
there.
One day.
We all know.
Oh, we know. Yeah.
Because that's the thing.
Actors, actresses, a lot of people.
Well, that's
That's
one
probably
thing I was
weird.
about to say. One thing that I didn't actually know about this, and it's actually a lot more the whole Epstein thing, and that's why we're never going to get all of the information. It's one thing I didn't think about, and with one glaring detail, it's funny how nobody talked about this, but then again, there's reason, and I'm going to try to censor myself whenever I say this, but basically did you know that Ghislaine, the associate, the partner of Epstein, her father worked for that one
The agency.
yeah,
Yeah.
agency down over
agency.
over
Yeah,
near the
know.
Mediterranean.
Yeah.
So
the agency.
it wasn't ever really just about the trafficking. It was all about intelligence and blackmail.
Yeah, it was about
Because-
blackmail. It was about get the most famous people and the most smart people in rooms, compromise them so that when something crazy happens and you need something from them, you can go, I have a video, a certain video that will really fuck your life up. So you're going to do exactly what the fuck I say, and you're going to smile while you do it. And that's what happens. Look at Mr. Gates. Just look at poor old Bill. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it because I don't give a fuck. And I think everybody already knows that Bill Gates is scared shitless. He thinks that if the list does come out, he's cooked. He's completely cooked. He went to Epstein Island more than anybody, more than the other Bill. And we're not even going to get into that. But it's all legitimate, and it's crazy because we all know who went. They just won't release the files publicly because all of these people are still alive. Some of them are the country's assets. That would be really bad for our country if some of that shit came out. It would be very bad for our country, and they know that. That's why they're not going to release it. They're going to allow certain little bits and pieces to come out. They always do. The whole list isn't. It's never going to come out. Till are long gone and dead, like the JFK files. But even then, there's always a chance that somebody burns them or loses them, like NASA lost all the moon footage. Remember that. NASA lost all of the footage and all of the data and everything that they needed from the moon landing. So remember, we're not as stupid as NASA. Not a space agency.
All right, what other videos you got, brother?
I mean, we have tons.
Like, what the fuck is that moving?
Well, there's no shadow. No shadow.
Shadow, that's fucking fire. Fire can't move. Or is that a fucking... Is that a UFO?
Yeah, it's a UFO, but there's no shadow. It looks like it's hovering above Antarctica, but there's no shadow. So I don't know how I feel about it.
That thing, if that thing was spotted by a person, it would have been long gone.
Yeah, I mean, that's weird. Like, there's no shadow, so it makes me think that it's AI.
Right.
No, that's just fucking staged.
I mean, or ships, alien ships don't have shadows. I don't know.
Alien ships do have shadows.
Yeah. I saw a very famous picture before AI was even around. I wish I would have saved it, but I was one of those curious kids that when Google Earth came out, I had to go to every part of the earth and I had to just like look at every little cornfield, every little place. I had to find crop circles. That's what I wanted to fucking do. I was like, if Google Earth is real, then I should be able to find some fucking farm fields with weird crop circles in them somewhere, and then I should be the first person to discover them, which I did on multiple occasions, twice, and reported them, which was even funner. But I found on Google Earth a picture that went viral back in like 2010, maybe, but I found it all the way back in 2006, right when Google Earth came out. The famous triangle in the middle of the Mexico desert somewhere. I can't tell you exactly where, but it's a black triangle that's just floating above the desert. And there's a shadow. It's there. It's literally there. Like, it's a triangle too, and it doesn't look like a stealth bomber. It doesn't look like anything I've ever seen before. It's just there. And then when that article came out, you know that Google Earth went and they took the coordinates of where that was and they blurred it right out. It's no longer there. Even when you go
So
to the older images.
Speaking of Google Earth, I did the same thing. You know, whenever it came out, I just spent time, you know, because that was, again, right in the middle of my deep dive into everything. So one thing that's very interesting about, I'll tell you this one first because it's more relevant to what we were talking about a minute ago. Then I'll tell you the last one after these two. So it was 06 or 07. I went to Google Earth. I was, you know, just found out about all the Admiral Byrd stuff. So went to Google Earth and went to the South Pole. Something very interesting. Whenever you zoomed in on the South Pole, it would just make the screen go black.
Yep, the black hole.
It's circular, but circular. And then whenever I went back about a year or two later to try to show my buddy. It was the opposite effect. It was like, you saw black, and then you zoomed in on it, and then it would just go all weird multicolored.
Yeah.
So it was like, from that entire period, between, Google Earth coming out and me having a computer to handle it, I think it was 2007 where I finally had a computer that could do it, to, a few years later, it was like, anytime you try to look at South Pole, you would get a different sort of glitching effect. But then you go to the North Pole, oh, there it is, no problem. It's perfect how it is. But then the other anomaly, though, it was whenever I was researching the Phil Schneider stuff. And I ended up just looking around trying to find, like some evidence of Dulce, New Mexico. What you talked about. And never found anything that really looked like a military base. And I hate the fact that my freaking a virus destroyed my computer because I was stupid in downloading any game, whatever at the time, and taking whatever I would get with it. But I had a screenshot of it whenever I found it. So it's in the mountain ranges, a little bit north and maybe northeast of Dulce. You're looking at just all the different mountains on the pictures, and this is back before they had like the really, really detailed ones. So it was still, like 06 or 07, 08. Well, on the edge, in this one really steep mountain, about yay, completely pointed, but about yay, near the top, right before it started getting really narrow, you see this little rectangular metal door. And it's just like as wide as the freaking mountain peak itself was at its level. So not much room on the sides of it for the edge of the mountain. So it was just really freaking weird. And then I screenshotted it, but I wish I still had that freaking picture, but because I never was able to find it after going back and looking for it.
I'm pretty sure if you look on Google, there's actually a couple of those, and a couple of those actually went viral. One is an animal, and there's that are in like weird mountains in the middle of like Colorado and Mexico, like just random weird metal holes, metal squares on the sides of mountains, and you're like, that's definitely an entrance to something. Like somebody is flying something into. Like, that's the only thing that makes sense.
And then once Google Earth finds out about those images, they blur them. They wipe them. They're like, nope, that can't be seen. So then you have like a half blurry mountain. I've seen the before and afters. They're absolutely hilarious. But they hide shit in plain sight. They're not smart. Never been smart.
Well, the way I see it with them is not that they're not smart. It's the fact that they have basically they don't have faith in people. They don't care who knows or the amount of people that do know. But as long as or who have found out about anything, so they basically, they'll easily scrub it when they can. And then they'll just rely on the masses because everything that everybody's inundated with, especially in the age of the internet, it's just like, are they really going? What's it going to matter if like these few hundred people or these few thousand people know, and then they try to get an audience? At most, they're going to get like 4 or 5 times their amount. But then, whenever we have this complete propaganda, everything, everybody saying everything opposite of that, they just don't care because they don't think that enough people that matter. There would never be enough people that would matter that would know about it. And then even then, all they can do is just sit there and deny, because they're the ones in the power.
Yeah, and the people that do matter, those people never seem to care. That's the crazy thing. Those people sit and do nothing. And like, I'm not a fan of or base or any of these billionaires. I'm really not. I could care less about all of them, honestly. But those are the people that have the power to legitimately change the world. And I understand that Elon has this whole like faith that he's put up for the world where he's like this super crazy awesome guy that builds rockets and shit. Whatever. I don't care. Bezos runs Amazon. But basically the dude cure world hunger in a matter of minutes, and they choose not to. Literally, the people
easily.
in the world that are the wealthiest don't give a shit about the majority. They don't care about us. They never have. Don't let that fool you. Like ever.
Well,
Believe
that's
that. Like
another
those
thing.
guys have never cared.
That's another thing to go along with that. Is something that I've been, because I'm not really I can't say I've ever been a fan of Elon. I've approved of some things that he's done. I've approved of some things other people have done. But whenever I have been seeing this just outright, petty hatred of him. Regardless,
Yeah.
he's a crazy dude, yeah. But the thing is, everybody's like, oh, the oligarchy, oh, the billionaires, and the thing is, the billionaires don't matter at all in the
Well,
slightest
you don't get to call
in the grand
somebody a
scheme of
Nazi because you don't like them. You don't get to call somebody
things.
a Nazi because you don't like them. I don't give a fuck who you are. You don't get to call somebody Hitler because you don't like them.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what's happening. That's what's going on right now. Everybody's calling Trump Hitler and everybody's calling Elon a Nazi, and it's absolutely obscene. And they
And the
wonder
thing
why
is that,
assassination has happened.
and at the same time, though,
I'm
it's like
sorry, but it's the
they
truth.
talk,
You
they'll talk
can't go
about,
around calling
they'll
people
talk.
Hitler and expect people not to react.
Oh yeah, I mean it's freaking stupid. Honestly, it's like if anything, it was just a troll freaking move or a dumb move, one of the two. And then he laughs. He's just sitting there laughing it off on Joe Rogan, But people are, they're brainwashed by the media. All it takes is CNN and freaking MSNBC, even with their low viewer rates at this point, you know. But then again,
Well,
you have all
they're
of
too
these
worried
freaking
about
pages on the internet echoing everything they're saying. But
they're
at the
too
same time,
worried about the democratic perspective. Too
but what I was
worried about the democratic perspective, about the old ways. That's what's happening. And the corruption is going to be cleaned out for the moment. But here in a couple of years, guys, like literally, I mean, it's proven. We literally switch back and forth. So the fact
Mhm.
is that corruption is probably going to come back. But we're going
Oh,
to have a
well, but
little bit of time that corruption hopefully goes away for a little bit. Not all corruption, but the large amount of corruption that is hurting everybody goes away for a little bit. I know there's other things going on in the world that people are worried about, but I feel a lot of it is being pushed unnecessarily by the media in the direction that they want people to feel. And that's what scares me.
and even more so, but the point I was getting at though is one thing I've been trying to tell all these people who are just like, oh, I hate the billionaires, there should be billionaires. It's like the billionaires aren't the problem. The billionaires are just people who have a certain worth. The problem is the people who have control of and are printing and determining the value of the money on a
Oh yeah,
whim.
the Fed.
The people, the globalist central bankers that basically they don't need a Jim Mars to investigate Bilderberg anymore because they've seen what audience he got and they don't give a fuck. They don't. So they're like they brag about this at this point, but they just don't tell them everybody that oh yeah we're the ones who actually print the money, who loan the money to the government. So all these billionaires they're just basically our customers. We can
Why do you
freaking
think why do you think Hitler never invaded Switzerland nor ever threatened the Swiss? There's a reason. It's called the
hmm
Swiss banking system. That's why.
hmm
They own all the money. And when you look at the Federal Reserve, they are not ran by America. They do not
private bank.
follow our rules. They do not have to follow our rules. They don't have to do anything for it at all. So the Federal Reserve is literally just a break off of the Swiss bank. So
hmm
we have to remember that too. The Fed does not work for us, nor do they care about our feelings.
No one was.
They're a private bank.
The
They
one thing is
loan.
okay.
They just basically control our economy. Though that's the only, like they're not part of the government, but yet they literally control our economy because I mean, basically, anytime all these government programs, it's basically they pass this stuff. They go to the Federal Reserve. Hey, we need this much money. All these billions and everything. That's not technically our tax dollars. It's hey, they're like, hey, this is what this is the bill that just passed. It's going to take this much money. Okay, they're like, okay, here's that.
Yeah, I
You
mean
owe us
the
that
money's already
plus
spent.
double, and that's how the
Yeah,
debt goes up.
the money's already spent. The money's already
Mhm.
spent. It's been spent. It's been spent since like basically when they say your tax dollars pay for something, really that money's already been borrowed on, and the money that they tax us for is ultimately just going to whatever they already purchased, and it's been a violent circle jerk of horrific transactions back and forth to countries that hate us, by the way, to countries that would never help fund us, but we're giving them billions of dollars yearly, sometimes monthly, depending on who you are. And I don't understand that. Like, why would we want to give Iran money? Which, I mean, Obama did it, Biden did it. There's a couple other presidents that have done it. I'm sure Bush did it,
It's all a circle
but
for the
I don't under
military-industrial complex.
right. But why fund a country that hates you? That's the thing that absolutely blows my mind. And it's like this shit with I don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, but it's like this shit with fucking Ukraine and this shit with Hamas. It's like both sides could give a shit less about America. So why are we still funding them? I don't understand. Like I get that like if you stop funding Ukraine, then Putin takes over. I get that. I totally understand. But I don't understand where it's my problem. Like that's what
It's
I'm kind of like weirded out by it because I'm like, what corporate interest do we have in Ukraine that we're not being told about? And like I know that Ukraine has a lot of rare earth minerals. Same thing with Russia. And Trump just brokered a deal to Ukrainian rare earth minerals. I don't know how that's going, but I was a big part of the the ongoing fight for a truce. I don't know what the happening with that. I don't follow that enough to know, but I know it's not good.
well,
I know
it's all
everybody's
been
pissed off at each other right now.
it's all been again. It goes back to the globalist interests, the WEF. The whole everything about Ukraine that started way back, decades ago, and
Yeah,
it was all has to do with NATO and Russia, and
right.
it's with the NATO expansion, and then whenever we overthrew a democratically elected leader or aided the coup in Ukraine in 2014, whenever we deposed somebody who was a peacekeeper who didn't want NATO in because he knew NATO would basically cause
Secret
issues with Russia.
politics.
And they also have, it's like, Ukraine
Seth
not,
MacFarlane
used to
hoax.
be part of Russia, but, I mean, despite everything that happened with the USSR, they still have ties. They're still everybody in the
The,
Donbass region. They're ethnic Russians,
half of Ukraine speaks Russian. Half of
Mhm.
Ukraine loves Putin. Let's be honest, okay? Like half of
Yeah.
Ukraine does not mind if Putin is their leader. The other half is very upset about it. And I mean, I get it. That's totally understandable. It's usually how the world works. Like that's how it works here. Half the people hate Trump, half the people love him. I mean, that's how it works. That's just how it works. Everybody
And then
has a freak out. It doesn't matter who's president. It doesn't matter who is the leader. Everybody, somebody's going to hate them. Somebody is going to be upset. Somebody is going to try to start some on that.
and basically the whole invasion was mostly because there was the whole NATO aspect, but then there was the whole fact that they were persecuting the southern ethnic Russians, and Putin was like, "Hey, we see what's going on there, and we see what y'all are trying to do. And if you all take them out, then you're going to have NATO on our doorstep, so stop it. And then even before the war started, the West was so, like, the peace treaty was on the table. And then
Which his
diplomat
only
from
rule ever
UK,
was Ukraine cannot be a part of NATO. The only rule ever was Ukraine cannot be a part of NATO. And then that dumb, like, I'm sorry, but that dumb girl, I'm not going to say her name, but that dumb girl had to go to Ukraine and be like, of course you can be a part of NATO. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. We don't want that problem. What are you doing?
well, it was also at the same time,
Jesus.
I forget his name at the moment, it's because I'm tired of him, but freaking that one UK diplomat. The guy's been everywhere, UK politics and even UN politics. He went there with her and basically told, and this is whenever the American media, this is one thing people forget, the American media was already saying an invasion had happened, and freaking Zelensky was on record in the media himself saying, please stop saying an invasion has happened. It hasn't happened. We're trying to work this peace out. Please stop goading this war on. You're causing unnecessary tension. And then UK dude and dumb girl showed up, and they're like, nope, we'll have your back. Don't sign this agreement. This is going to hurt you. We'll have your back. We'll make sure that you can take on Russia. And then what's happened?
Which is
and then
insane.
at the same time, it goes to the point where even with both of the wars, if Israel,
have y'all seen the numbers? The fucking numbers? Have both of you seen the numbers? Like, the numbers are retarded. Like, I'm sorry, but they are. Ukraine stands no chance.
Yep.
yeah, if Russia truly wanted to completely take over Ukraine, it would have been done by now. It would have, even with all of the money that. Then again, they're laundering the money that we're giving them anyways. I mean, freaking cartels are getting stuff that we were supposed to be giving for them. They've been selling it back to the freaking elsewhere because basically Russia entrenched itself in southern Ukraine, the people they were trying to protect, and they're basically, if they wanted to take the rest of Ukraine, they would have done so by now because they've already wiped out most of their soldiers at this point. It's basically a standstill because Russia is basically just sitting where they're sitting. If they wanted to take the rest of Ukraine, they would have done it already, but they know what would have happened and how that would have not been good for them. So they're basically just sitting there, and the whole war since then has just basically been a negotiating chip. It's like, okay, you give us what we want, we'll back out, don't hurt our people. You piss us off, we'll go to where you want us to go, but we don't want to go there either, which would be World
It's
War III.
literally just a show. But anyways, tie this all back into the original subject, flat Earth. Like, this just proves to you the government's full of shit. I'm sorry, but like, it doesn't matter what side it is. Like, I feel like we're just being talked and told lies. It's like everything that they can lie about, they lie about, especially if it benefits. If it benefits them in one way or another, and they can lie about it, they will. And I have thought about the weird thing that I've thought about that kind of with Earth is that what's beneficial about the globe is flight patterns. Can charge you more via flying if the Earth is a globe. If the Earth is not a globe and it's flat, which, by the way, in my opinion, was kind of proved when Japan bombed Hawaii. They got to Hawaii faster than they should have been able to if the Earth was round. That's just a proven. But either way, flight patterns, they don't make any sense if the Earth is flat. And have y'all seen the videos of people catching planes flying around in circles for half an hour? I know, like, I'm not the only one who's seen that shit. Yeah, and I've seen it in person. I've literally seen it in person. I've seen a plane fly around in like 2 or 3 circles and then go about its way. And I'm like, what the hell was well, in my opinion, they're docking time. They've told you one thing, but in all actuality, they can they can fly right out the way, and you'll never even know.
Mhm.
You'll never even know. Like that's just what it is they can just fly you around and you won't know. And that's why flight patterns work the way they do. Is you're on the plane, you've got your headphones in, you're asleep, you took a Xanax, you're not fucking worried about what they're doing as long as you get to your destination. I mean,
That's why I
it
don't
makes
fall
sense
asleep
to
on a
me,
plane or a bus.
right? Well, see, cars work for a globe Earth and a flat Earth. Okay, like with cars, it's very convenient that they go a certain speed and their speed limits, right? Therefore, you can make certain time throughout the day. Therefore, you can only get certain places in a certain amount of time. Like you can't get from Missouri to the very bottom of the Florida Keys in one day. It's not happening. With the speed limit and with everything else, you would have to be going 120 miles per hour the entire way. That's the only way. And you gotta stop for gas. You can't stop for gas in that aspect. So I personally believe that cars work on both a globe and a flat earth because there's no real way to tell distance with a car, especially with the way that they build roads. The way that roads wind and curve forever. You'd never know the earth was round or flat driving because there are no flat roads. The roads that are flat are only flat for a little bit. They all have incline.
Mhm.
So and that's the another thing that weirds me out is incline. Mountains incline on a flat earth. Like that's what weirds me out. I mean, what are your thoughts on like incline in mountains, Aaron? Like on a flat earth, not a global earth.
The I, I can't 100% say regarding how that would affect either, mainly because I haven't been on one. So um, because that's one thing that is, I'll go ahead and say, despite the fact that my own beliefs may differ, there are a lot of very good points that have been brought up regarding to support flat Earth. And I haven't looked into specifically what you mean regarding the inclines and whatnot, how that would be differ unless you're talking about like being able to see the curvature of the Earth from a mountain. Or is that what you're kind of talking about?
Well, with the curvature of a mountain, so being able to see the curvature from a mountain, so from what I have researched, there is no mountaintop in the entire world that you can see the curvature from. Same thing with where planes fly. So where planes fly, and I believe it's the stratosphere. I could be wrong. It might be the troposphere. Where planes fly, you can't even see curvature there. So supposedly you can see curvature where the ISS is, but the ISS is in inner Earth orbit. It's not actually in space. So that's another thing that we're all lied about. Is satellites and the ISS are in space. They're not. And NASA doesn't lie about it. They just don't announce it publicly. They're in inner Earth or like close Earth orbit. Basically, that's like the closest you can be to space, and the furthest be from the ground on Earth, but not actually in space. As weird as that sounds, there's not a lot of gravity there apparently. So these objects can just float around in orbit. According to the globe model, that's what would happen. Um, with the flat Earth model, they would be satelloons. They would literally be heliumized satellites that would be flying as high as the dome could get, and then eventually they would lose air and they would fall down and they would end up in people's lawns. And guess what, guys? They do all the time. So that's weird. That's a little weird. Sets fall the sky all the time. They even parodied it in The Walking Dead with a satellite falling into the middle of the woods and burning, and nobody there to put it out because the government's gone on, and just whatever. That's what happens. Satellites fall out of the sky.
It's been fun listening to this. I'm gonna head to bed. It is late.
Yeah, we're actually gonna probably have to shut the show down, crew, because it's been 2 hours, but it's been fun. I've been glad to hear your guys' views on flat Earth and being able to meet you, Aaron, and being able to meet you, Derek. It'll be fun to have you guys on podcasts on a later date. It was nice getting to see y'all. So
Oh, yeah,
I'll
I
see
was
you later,
already.
Aaron.
I'm not sure if crew mentioned, but I was planning to be on the season finale. So.
Oh, okay,
I guess
cool.
I'll see
Yeah,
you
no,
then.
I don't know all of his guests yet, but yeah,
Okay.
it was nice to meet you, and it'll be fun to talk with you on the big episode.
Most definitely.
All right, well, nice meeting you, man.
Yep. Same to you. Good to
Peace.
finally meet the Rock. Catch you later.
Yeah. All right, crew. So tonight we kicked it off with flat Earth. We talked about a little other things, and it was a lot of fun. So, I think we had a good night. We hit the stream for about 2 hours. It's about 2:30. It's time to go to bed. So, thank you guys for watching the Robert and Crew show. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening to Mindfulness and Crew's rambling BS and everybody else's rambling BS. It was fun. Let's do it again tomorrow. Talk to y'all later. Peace.
If you don't like boring news but still crave the truth, then dive into The Robert and Crew Show. From mind-bending conspiracy theories to wild weather phenomena, we've got it all. Ever wondered what's really happening in your hometown, or what secrets the global news isn't telling you? We dig deep into the core of every story, unraveling the mysteries one podcast at a time. Join Robert and the crew as we navigate this vibrant, ever-changing cyberpunk landscape, bringing you interviews with the most intriguing minds out there. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, a news junkie or a weather enthusiast, there's something here for you. So strap in, listeners, because we're about to take you on a ride through the neon-lit alleys of truth and intrigue. This is the Robert and Crew Show, where the future meets the fantastic.